wait a second, what did I do? Like, what's wrong with me? Like maybe I'm the toxic person. Maybe I'm the narcissist. Have you ever heard of the phrase transitional supply? Maybe you were a person that was with a narcissist for 1 month, for 2 months, for 6 months, and then now they're with the next person and they're giving them all the things they ever hoped for, dreamed, or imagined. Maybe you never saw like a love bombing aspect in your relationship. Maybe you were never fully connected with all these hopes, dreams, and plans that they actually never pulled to fruition. But then they went to the next person and you see that. You see that happening on a day-to-day basis, and it messes with your mind and with your head of like, wait a second, like, what did I mean to them? Like, what's actually going on? A lot of times people don't understand what transitional supply is because there's not really a ton of topics. There's not really a ton of communication about it. So I want to be able to talk to you some today about transitional supply, what it is and how it looks like, and kind of like that cycle of what it looks like on a day-to-day basis as it happens. Anyways, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. I want to be able to encourage you, if you're watching on YouTube right now, or if you're listening on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, anything like that, I want to be able to say like, hey, follow us on the other platforms, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube here. We're on all the platforms under Raw Motivations, and be able to check us out, hit a couple alerts, hit follow. That way you can see when we drop new videos, when we go live throughout the week, and be able to engage with that community. If you want to engage with a community of like-minded people, please check out the NARC app. It stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, NARC. It's a great place to be able to get advice from other people, to connect with other people who have been through the same type of shit that you've been through and want to heal, grow, and change. You can ask advice, you can share your story, you can introduce yourself, you can talk to other survivors, you can take courses, you can take classes about narcissism, about what's actually going on. You can hear from myself, from other content creators, from other coaches that have been through the muck of narcissism and want to be able to share and help you heal, grow, and change. Track your no contact, record your truth, come with us live every week on Monday nights to be able to interact, come on screen, interact with everybody there, share your story, ask questions. And also we have monthly coaching that's focused on the future. How are you building and setting yourself up for future success in relationships and life in general? Download the NARC app. It's on Apple and also Google Play. Just type in NARC, NARC, and it'll pop right up. Anyways, transitional supply. Have you guys heard about that? So we're going to look real quick in the book. If you guys haven't had it, you should pick it up. Psychopath Free. Fantastic book of recovering from emotional abusive relationships with narcissists, sociopaths, and other toxic people. A lot of times the book just kind of groups them all together saying psychopath because that's a lot easier, which is why it's called Psychopath Free. But we're going to talk about transitional supply. Although the psychopath likely doesn't even have the next target scouted out yet, they already know that they're not staying with you, so they want to move things along quickly. Because of this, you tend to get ripped out of the idealized phase much faster than most. Additionally, the idealized phase is lazy. So oftentimes, like, no money, no actions, no special treatment, just words. Do you identify with that? Is that something that you've seen in your life with you when you've been with that toxic person of is just words? Like sometimes people look at like the love bombing stage and us talking about it, like, overt gifts, praise, and people are just like, I didn't get any of that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not crazy. Like, it happens. And a lot of times it's transitional supply. A lot of times it's just words. You were showered with a lot of words which sucked you in because you wanted to believe that the words so badly. But as you're starting to see, their actions never matched up with their words. That's where cognitive dissonance comes from. The idea of what I see, what I know to be true, and then what the person's saying is completely different. But to you, the relationship means everything. It's attention and appreciation that you've never experienced before. It appeals to your deepest dreams of making someone else happy. After all of their alleged pain and sadness, it seems like they know you so well. You finally found a soulmate after so much loneliness and frustration. The thing you have to realize and understand is that you don't have this deep connection with the toxic person. If anything, you're merely just a diversion, a stepping stone to the next relationship. I'm not saying that to devalue you. I'm just saying it of like, that's how it actually is for the narcissist. They're especially indifferent with transitional targets, not really caring one way or the other. They don't. They're just like, this is just tiding me over. The idea of like, I can't be alone. I don't want to be alone without supply, without someone in my life. So this is just tiding me over till I get to the next person. Hard part is you tend to fill in their abuse with your own love in hopes that you can restore the brief idealized phase. Targets often experience cognitive dissonance trying to project their own reasoning into an unreasonable person. It's a great way to be able to put it, like trying to give reason, trying to give like logic behind of like, this is why they're doing it, to an unreasonable person, an unreasonable situation that they're actually going through. And then comes the most heartbreaking moment. They discard you and go running off with another person whom they suddenly seem to really settle down with. They move in together, post pictures, pay for things, and live the life that you've always dreamed of. It's the ultimate insult when you were not given any of that special treatment. Basically, as soon as they got their quick fix of power and control over you, they felt re-energized and ready to scout out their next great adventure. Statistically, most victims in an abusive relationship with a psychopath return to their abuser 7 times before they finally realize that the treatment is unacceptable and leave for good. Not so for the transitional target. Here's how the 2 types of relationships play out. Your typical relationship with a psychopath: idealize, devalue, idealize, devalue, idealize, devalue, and then finally discard after like a breaking point. This is what a transitional target gets. Mediocre, idealized phase with huge promises that make you feel amazing, sudden discard out of nowhere. Like there's not really like any like cycle or anything. It's just all this kind of working up and then boom, like the hammer drops and gone. Like you're out of my life. That's it. That's why a lot of times the transitional supply can be so confusing and so hard, because it's almost like a harder drop. Everyone else is kind of seeing, okay, we're going through this again. Here's like the same roller coaster. Here's what we're doing. Transitional supply is just like, here we go, and all of a sudden just gone. Okay. This leaves the transitional target with zero closure because you can't even look back at the cycle of violence that exists for most people. Not that you would want to by any means, but you're basically just left in limbo after the abandonment from such a ridiculous high to a devastating low, with no time or perspective to realize what just happened. It's emotional torture. You're left with only intense love and horrible discard. Psychopaths use their mind games on every target. It's always the same. The difference is transitional targets never experience the full idealized period. They don't get the full like love bombing aspect. Okay, with some time and stability for things to blow up. This is because the psychopath never intended for the transitional target to be a stable part of their life to begin with. You were perfect for what they wanted at the time: attention and admiration. You see this time and time again with narcissists because that is what they want. All they want is that attention and admiration. Whether it's a short-term or a long-term supply, they don't care. And you have to remember, whether you're a transitional target or a long-term target, doesn't matter. It's all about the narcissist. So many times people get this confused and they start thinking like, wait a second, what did I do? Like, what's wrong with me? Like maybe I'm the toxic person. Maybe I'm the narcissist. They start wondering all these different things, and they're starting to put the focus back on themselves, when for the narcissist, it's always been on the narcissist. It's never been on anyone else. So when you try to justify or figure out like why this situation feels so crazy, like why did they do this to me? The narcissist doesn't do it to you, doesn't do it for you. They do it for themselves. And that's what you have to understand and realize. A lot of times when I'm working with people one-on-one, that's one of the most popular questions to kind of like talk through, is they'll ask like, am I the narcissist? Like I'm struggling with this. Like they told me I was toxic. They told me I was mean. They told me I was abusive. And then we have to start walking through like the traits and what's actually going on. If that's something you want to do sometime, like grab the link down below, because a lot of times it's helpful for people to see, hey, this is how I acted. And then someone else will be like, well, yeah, but didn't you see this is how they acted as well? Anyways, transitional supply. But they also recognize that you are emotionally intelligent and uniquely perspective. A lot of times the fact that you're watching a video like this or you're reading Psychopath Free gives the idea of like, hey, like you're actually trying to seek truth. You're actually trying to work on it and figure out what's going on. Psychopaths settle for targets who truly don't see their nasty behavior. If you're reading this now, which we are, that means that the psychopath could never settle for you because over the course of months, years, or decades, you saw through the facade. They need someone that won't catch on, ever. And that's the goal. Narcissist doesn't want to be with someone that catches on, that holds them accountable, that holds them responsible for the things that they're doing. Does this resonate with you? Of maybe you didn't get the grandiose gestures, you didn't get this giant love bombing phase, you didn't get all these gifts and everything like that. You just got a bunch of words and then you got dropped. And in those moments, it starts to make you feel like you're utterly and completely crazy. What I want to let you know is that you're not. You're not crazy. A lot of times people ask me this and they think this and they're confused about this. You're not crazy. You're responding normal to what someone put you through a crazy situation. You're not crazy. You're not alone. There's a lot of people out there willing to help support you in that healing, growth, and change. Download the NARC app, be able to check that out, schedule a one-on-one, and get in contact with a therapist. Anything that can happen on a day-to-day basis to help you find that healing, growth, and change.